Hey, how's it going? So this is something completely different, something that I didn't even really know I was going to do until maybe 2 days ago. What you're seeing right here is the final event of 1985 for the WF. This is my kind of personal save thing I've been doing off and on for about a month or so now. It's taken me a little bit longer than I would have liked to get to the 1 year mark. And in no way would I say expect this to be a regular thing. But it's just something extra, something special, I guess, I wanted to put out. Because I felt like it, maybe. So I'm just going to make these speeches here really quick. I'll run down all the changes and stuff like that I have personally done moving forward. And I will, I will talk through everything as we go. And we'll make the speech there. Very happy, seemed pleased, was pleased. Perfect. And then we can quickly look at everything around the world, because I wanted to record at the end of the show here so you could see my live reaction to who the Wrestler of the Year are and all that fun stuff, because I do assume I'll be Company of the Year. I've become the only national company in the world. If you don't know, the start of this data, you started as Cult. I believe you're the only Cult company in the world, but then JCP, Jim Crockett Promotions, it would go on to become WCW, for those who don't know. They very quickly jump up there with you, but then you distance yourself again. So when this loads up here, I'll show you guys what I've done with my company. I'll take a look at JCP. I'll take a look maybe over in Japan, for anybody who knows Japan. I'll check all around the States, maybe a little bit of the UK, and I'll just kind of explain, I don't know, what I've been doing in this off-screen thing, because, I don't know, I think that it's kind of fun always just to kind of see things like this. This is, of course, partially inspired by 370's TEW stuff. He did, like, year-end review type stuff for his saves, and so shout out to him, of course, for kind of innovating. I don't want to say creating this style, because I'm sure he got it from somewhere, but shout out to him for kind of popularizing it, maybe. So we have, oh god, it's Genichiro, isn't it? It's not Genichiro. Genichiro? Ooh. Anyways, it's Tenryu. I know Tenryu. He's the number one wrestler in the world. He's an NWA International Tag Team Champion. Let's check out his top 10 matches. Yeah, shit. Riki Choshu beat Choshu and Yatsu. Is that him? Kakuyuri. Is that him? Is he Kakuyuri? Oh, they're a tag team. Duh. I don't know why I didn't get that. I was supposed to say they're in a tag team. That's his tag team with no one. Right. Okay. Company of the Year is, of course, the WF. Team of the Year is... Oh, there it is. Kakaryu. I don't know why the hell that didn't pop up before. Match of the Year was Hogan defeating Big John Studd at our random Supercard show in September. Random Supercard show was also the show of the year. Young Wrestler of the Year here is Jaguar Yokota. Veteran Wrestler of the Year is Giant Baba. Female Wrestler of the Year is Dump Matsumoto. Most Improved Company of the Year is, of course, the WF. We made huge strides. El Mexicano is the Independent Wrestler of the Year. Manager of the Year is Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji #1. Announcer of the Year is Ichiro Furitachi. Color Comment of the Year is Jesse Ventura himself. Referee of the Year is Kyohei Wada. And of course, you can see this stuff here. I'm moving all my TVs over. We'll explain all this. I don't want to look at too many of these different things, because we're basically going to go into it anyway. So the only thing I do want to check out, of course, is the thing that I always like to check out. If you know me, I like to check out all the new people, because all the new people are fun. It means I know who's in the world, you know? New workers, Benjamin Mora Jr. I don't know who that is. Oh, he's some Mexico guy. He is a wealthy businessman from Tijuana, okay? Craig DeGeorge. I don't know him either. At all. Bull Payne. Wow. Wow. Bull Payne, folks. The Angel of Death. That's... yeah, he debuted in the wrestling business with Sting and Warrior, Power Team USA. Kind of cool, I guess. Jesus Christ, he's got a lot of menace. Mark Starr. Where do I know the name Mark Starr? Younger brother to Chris Champion. I don't know why I know the name Mark Starr. Bonnie Blackstone, wife of promoter Joe Pedicino, maybe? Nope, I don't know anything about her. Shigeo Kawasaki is just some random generated female Japanese referee, I assume. Reggie Bennett is some really big woman who they think is really sexy. Okay, I guess. And Ray Odyssey. Surfer Ray Odyssey. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright. What are our emails here? What is this? AJ... Oh, Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Bob Backlund, whatever. Oh, Deep South Wrestling founded. Nice. That's always good to see. Jody Hamilton setting up shop. We've got all the primetime stuff. You can see our slots begin there. USA, TSN. They got a pretty alright buy rate. Don Muraco thinks Davey Boy's going to be a star. They think Dynamite Kid doesn't connect with the fans. Tony Atlas can't sell. And Nikita Koloff, one-night deal with WCCW. Okay, quickly, let's check around my company. We're making tons of money, which is great. Our champions, of course, Hulk Hogan. He's had it since the beginning of the save. He's not going to drop it anytime soon. I did have him go to a double DQ once with Don Muraco, and that was to put... Yeah, sorry. I was looking at the wrong way. I was like, why would he have gone to a double DQ with Muraco later? No, so he does the double DQ with Muraco, and then beats him clean at the big event. So you can see the history here of kind of the feuds. At our first show, I had him fight Cowboy Bob, because at this point, Piper's kind of got a stable of three guys. It's him, Cowboy Bob, and Paul, Orndorff. So... they do that. I decided to main event with just Hogan versus Piper, because I feel like that's a bigger draw than Hogan and Mr. T versus Orndorff and Piper. I did have Orndorff and Piper also go on that show. We can look at Mania here in a moment. And then Hogan worked kind of a spring program against Orndorff, worked a summer program with Muraco after Muraco kind of... he won King of the Ring, so that's where the Muraco push kind of came from. Hogan then fought John Studd over the majority of the fall, and then here to wrap up the year, he's actually been facing Junkyard Dog, a fellow face. You can see right here, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is our Intercontinental Champion. He doesn't start with the company. I brought him in, and he's already a main eventer. Steamboat's just so good. He's so good immediately. So it starts off, the feud is Valentine, Tito, and JYD. So I think the entire feud is meant to have Tito come out on top, so I had him do that there at Mania. He won that. And then Tito beat David Schultz, and then David Schultz won it from him. We'll talk about David Schultz in a moment, because David Schultz is a big thing, especially in this next year. In 86, I need him on fire immediately, and I think you can probably already tell why. He's had a couple random defenses in there. He beat Bret Hart. He beat Ricky before Ricky finally beat him, and then Ricky's kind of been fighting Valentine here over the winter. A lot of these storylines are going to come to a close. Here's King of the Ring. You can see that. Don Muraco, the champion. Our women's champion is Akira Hokuto. She was brought to us through an excursion from... Oh, crap. Where was she on excursion from? Employment history? AJW. Is that all Japan women's? All Japan women's? Yes, All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. Yeah, so... yeah, she's come over to us. I threw the belt on her a couple months into her run. I think she's working as a pretty good heel against Wendy Richter, even if she's not necessarily her full awesomeness. And our tag team champions, another team that aren't here at the start, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldogs. Looking here, you can see we start out with the U.S. Express, which is Mike Rotunda and Barry Windham. They're the tag team champions. They feud with the North-South Connection, which is Dick Murdoch and Adrian Adonis, before he's adorable Adrian Adonis. And then we had Sheik and Koloff reign through the majority of the year, kind of like they did in real life, before finally dropping it to the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs have kind of bounced around defending against different people. They actually defended it twice in 1 week. They defended it once on one day. They actually defended it once against the Midnight Express and once against San Martino, and that's David San Martino, and Ivan Putski. And they then just retained it there. So, as I stated, a lot of the feuds you're going to look at here, they're all going to be ending. So we had Hulk Hogan fighting the Junkyard Dog. That's done with for now. Ricky Steamboat taking on Greg the Hammer Valentine for the IC belt. That's done now. Sheik and Volkov fighting the Bulldogs. That's done. Tony Atlas and Roddy Piper is done. Roddy beat Tony clean. Schultz and Snuka is also done. Santana and Macho is done. Terry Allen beat Ken Patera perfectly clean, and the Andre the Giant, yes, he's beaten Don Muraco twice in a row now. Okay, so I have a clean slate for storylines moving forward. I will enlighten you guys on a couple different things. First of all, I want to check out that Mania card I promised to show you guys. We ran 107 shows, which is actually pretty cool. There it is, WrestleMania 1. So Cowboy Bob Orton defeated Jimmy Snuka. David Schultz defeated Hillbilly Jim. Andre the Giant defeated Big John Studd. Tito Santana defeated Junkyard Dog and Greg Valentine in a three-way. The U.S. Express defeated North-South Connection. Paul Orndorff defeated Mr. T. Wendy Richter defeated the Fabulous Moolah. And Hulk Hogan defeated Roddy Piper. And there it is, Hogamania. Hogamania, everybody. Hogamania running wild. What are things I wanted to show off? Quick rundown of the roster. Actually, I'll auto-push everybody. Okay. Adrian Adonis, of course, he's in a tag team, already mentioned, with Dick Murdoch right here. They are the North-South Connection. They're a pretty damn solid tag team hand. They're probably going to feud with the Bulldogs here leading into Mania. And they'll probably end up losing to the Bulldogs, because I'm trying to get over kind of a new generation of tag team talents. And I'll mostly show them off also. Of course, we already talked about Hokuto. Andre's hanging out. I still plan on doing him and Hogan at Mania 3, but that's like 2 years off now already. Arnold Scaland, of course. He's here to, he's here to, road agent, stuff like that. Barry Windham, one half of the U.S. Express with Mike Rotunda. Big John Studd, he's our heel equivalent to Andre, lost to Andre at Mania, I think. Did I have him go over Andre at Mania? Or did I have Andre go over Mania, or did I totally forget? I don't remember. But that's what was supposed to happen. They fight in a body slam competition. That might have been an angle, actually, that I did. The body slam competition, because I didn't want either to get really damaged. But anyways, you can see right here, Big John Studd's popularity growth. He's a very, very popular man, and spiking here when he lost to Hogan, and then he's kind of come down a little bit since then, because I haven't had really a program for him to be showcased in. Bobby Heenan, you can see he's managing Ken Patera and Big John Studd. He's got his big boys. Bret Hart, teaming, of course, with Jim Neidhart, who we just brought in. Bret spent the first half of the year or so as a singles wrestler. Now he's hanging out with Jim. They're the Hart Foundation. They've got Jimmy Hart as their manager. They should have come in as heels, but Bret was already here in game, and he was already a face. And I couldn't turn him at the time, so they're going to have a face run for a little bit and probably switch them, and then they can feud with the Bulldogs. I brought in big, beautiful Bruce Prichard, mostly because I listened to something to wrestle with while I play Red Dead, which I'm actually taking a break to record this for once, Bruno's on comms. I'll probably be switching. He also manages his son, but that doesn't matter much. I'll probably be switching. Actually, I'll do that right now. I need to switch some of the... How do I do announcers again? Am I stupid? There it is. Because I believe Yeah, see, primetime wrestling should be Gorilla and Jesse. And then I'd have... Whoops, come on. And then I'd have All-Star Wrestling, our 1 hour B show, be Vince and Bruno. And that's how I'd have that shakeout. Just makes more sense to me. You can also see the fact that Jesse's one hell of a color comp. Anyways, we have Beef right here. He's still managed by Johnny Valiant. I'm keeping him as the heel stripper type character for a little bit, just because I don't have much to do with him. I don't overly like Beefcake, but I like him a lot more when he's being a heel over being the stupid butcher character. Candy Divine is a woman we brought in to job. The women's division is like 3 names and some jobbers to throw them up against. Chief J Strongbow, road agent. Gotta love Chief J Strongbow, because I do believe he isn't even one bit Native American. I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, all right? Don't tell me I'm, like, damaging this man's legacy or something like that. It's either him or... It's quite a couple, actually, of, like, the really, really over Native American wrestlers. There's quite a few of them that don't have any, like, Native American or Aboriginal, as we call them up here in Canada, in their blood at all. Cowboy Bob, he's a heel. He's kind of a third-rate main event heel, behind, of course, Roddy and Paul. He's kind of just hung out most of the year. You can see his match history here. 10 wins and 7 losses. He's been a bit of a job boy. He was losing to Andre for a bit. Yeah, overall, just Cowboy Bob being Cowboy Bob. Cyndi Lauper, I kept her around. She's currently managing the Bulldogs like she did later on. It's great because it gives the Bulldogs a mic piece, and it's helping them get pretty damn over. They're already up to mid-card, which is pretty damn solid, especially considering they've been with the company for, actually since February. So no, that's respectable. David Sammartino, he is in a tag team with his mentor, Ivan Putski. They're just a jobber tag team, lower mid-card dudes. David Schultz is my big project. I wish David could hit main eventer. Literally out of this statement, transplant Stone Cold Steve Austin back to the kayfabe era, and you've got the Good Doctor. He is going to fight Hogan here at WrestleMania 2 instead of King Kong Bundy, because fuck King Kong Bundy. Fuck that steel cage match. I might still do a steel cage match, but it makes more sense with a violent psychopath, right? Like Dr. D. David Schultz. Yeah. Moving forward, Debbie Combs, another one of our women's jobbers. Dennis Condrey, one half of the Midnight Express with Bobby Eaton. They're being managed, of course, by James E. Cornette. One of the biggest things, if you follow what I like to do, I like to have a strong tag team division. I'm a really big fan of tag team wrestling, IRL, in the real world, if you will. I love all that garbage. Dick Kroll's just a ref. Dick Murdoch, already covered the tag team. Don Muraco was the king of the ring this year. He had his ups and downs, but overall, he's a pretty solid hand. Happy to have him around. Dynamite Kid, I've already covered. Freddie Blassie, he's a manager. He's managing Greg Valentine. He did originally manage Volkov and the Sheik, but his chemistry with Volkov and the Sheik sucked, so I flipped him over to managing Greg Valentine, which actually worked, because, if I'll scroll down a bit, Fuji originally managed Greg Valentine and Don Muraco. Well, guess what? Their chemistry sucked. So... Or no, yeah, Greg Valentine and Don Muraco. So I flipped the two, and all the chemistry kind of worked out. And I think it makes even weirder sense, in a way, for the Arabian Sheik, the Croatian communist or whatever, and the Hawaiian Japanese. They're all hanging out together. I don't know, just some fun. Gene Okerlund, of course, good job. love you. Rest in peace, Mean Gene. George Scott. I don't actually know George Scott, but apparently him and Vince were pretty close. So it's weird that I've never heard of this guy. George Steele. He's riding out the remaining 7 months of his contract. I've got nothing for him at all. He's kind of useless. Gorilla, of course, is great. Love having Greg Valentine around. He's such a good hand. He works really well with a lot of guys. You just gotta love it, you know. You just gotta love it. Hillbilly is a really solid big man. Lots of charisma. Good mic work on him. Never gonna get above the mid card though. He's just not very good. Hogan, of course, the Golden Goose, the man, the myth, the legend, kind of peaking around the 90s, kind of sticking around there if I'm not wrong. I'm worried his pop cap might be somewhere around there. But, he's sustaining, his overness. He's the most over he's ever been. So, it's looking pretty good. Of course, Ivan Putski I already talked about. James E. Cornette I already talked about. Jerry Brisco, he's an occasional wrestler. He's a really good hand. I throw him in there every once in a while. And he jobs out. And I appreciate it. It's good. I already talked about Jim Neidhart, Jimmy Hart as well, their manager. Jimmy Snuka is mostly doing jobs. He's older now, He's not working as well anymore. Joey Morel's a ref. Johnny Valiant is managing Brutus Beefcake. Judy Martin's mostly a jobber for the women's division. JYD actually has been a really strange success story. I never planned to push JYD really hard. He just kind of ended up getting more over and over and over as time has gone on. And so I've kind of had no choice but to put him in high-profile programs like the one he just had against Hogan. Ken Patera is hanging out. He lost in a feud to one of our biggest signings, I think, away from the NWA, and we'll cover that in a minute. Leilani Kai, I would have liked to have put Leilani Kai over really damn hard, but because she's like hanging out with Moolah manages her. She's just not very useful. Lord Alfred Hayes, I don't know why the hell he's an authority figure. He's not. He's just kind of a backstage interviewer. Lou Albano managing the U.S. Express. Mike Rotunda, part of the U.S. Express. Miss Elizabeth, of course, managing Randy Macho Man Savage. Mr. Fuji. Mr. T is like an occasional wrestler, but he's more or less an authority figure. I have him come out and like announce matches and shit like that just to pop ratings. Volkov already covered. Pat Patterson's, of course, there. Paul Orndorff I talked about already. Kind of second-rate main event heel. Really quite a solid wrestler. Really quite over. Randy Savage is getting over also. Randy's one hell of a worker. I really, really love having Randy around. He's awesome. Ricky, as I said, main eventer. I never really tried to push Steamboat this hard this early, but it's hard to deny this growth over a 12-month period. So, I'm very happy about that. Bobby Eaton going here as Rob Eaton because I didn't want to confuse him and Bobby Heenan. Just because if I ever did that, it'd be really, really bad, probably. So yeah, he's hanging out. He's teaming up with Dennis Condrey. Piper's mega over. Piper's just great. He's everything you need from, that type of guy. Steve Lombardi's hanging out. One of the greatest jobbers of all time. Sting and Warrior, they're hanging out. They are Power Team. Off of their Power Team USA name. Imagine an early version. Well, no, because they exist at this point. But imagine trying to craft our own version of the Road Warriors, but not Demolition. Because Demolition will come around also. So I'm very, very excited for these two hanging out together. They're getting over pretty quick as well, if I'm not wrong. Because they went from... What do they have? They've gone from 0s to 17s to 34s. Yeah, they're getting really over pretty fast, and I'm quite pleased with these guys. They're great. They're great. I'm shocked at how quick they've grown. So yeah, we have Sting, the future of the NWA. We also have the other future of the NWA, the one that would get injured. Magnum TA, known here as Terry Magnum Allen. He's kind of our up and coming baby face type character, you know what I mean? He's a badass, he's a cool guy. He's probably going to feud with Piper going into Mania, which is going to be really fun. Sheiky, of course, teaming with Volkov. The Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, I have him mostly just to sit on him. He's a pretty alright wrestler. He's a pretty damn good job guy. Tim White's just a ref. Tito, I'm trying to push Tito down the card. He's a good wrestler, but I don't care much for him at all. Tony Atlas had that little feud there with Roddy Piper, mostly just because I needed somebody to tide Piper over while I tried to up Terry's overness to where he could legitimately possibly be a threat to him. And it's worked, actually. Tony Atlas has done pretty damn good. Tony Garea is just an enhancement talent. Vicky Williams is another women's jobber. Of course, we have Vince, Warrior, and Wendy Richter, who is more or less the Hogan of the women's division. Taking a quick look here at our creative meeting. Here's our franchise players. Very happy to see Ricky on there, which is really crazy. Our next big things, Bret Hart and Terry Magnum Allen. Kind of sad there's no Stinger Warrior on there, but, whatever. You can see our hot prospects are Bret, Hokuto, Sam Martino, which kind of sucks because I'll probably never push Sam Martino. He's just kind of shit. Wendy Richter, and Dynamite Kid. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. Talk the talk. We have Piper, Hogan, Ventura, Mr. T, Bobby Heenan. Nobody you're really shocked about, I don't think. Showstoppers is Steamboat Savage, Dynamite Kid, Snuka, Piper. Really, really good group there. Ring Generals is Steamboat, Valentine, Savage, Hart, Santana. Who's hot? You can see right there. Kind of the guys who you'd expect to be hot. Who's not? Kind of the people you'd expect also. Time decline, we've got quite a few people. Moolah, mostly 19 years past her prime, 55 years old. Should be a lot older if I'm not wrong. Yeah, her original birth year is 1923. Because otherwise she'll just retire instantly because she's so old. And our hidden gems, and trust me, I know of all of these people, obviously, but I'm waiting to bring them in because I like a little bit of realism. While, of course, I did instantly bring these guys in, I don't think it's that big of a stretch because I think Warrior and Sting, at least like in this incarnation, as like crazy muscle heads with a lot of intensity as a tag team is really what Vince would look for, especially early on. And yeah, you can see the growth of the company overall here. If I take a look, we've grown a lot over the past year, and I'm excited to be onwards and upwards. Let's take a look here at our biggest rival, JCP, Jim Crockett Promotions. They've got Bill Irwin, Billy Graham, Black Bart, Bob Caudle, Buddy Rose, Buzz Sawyer, Charlie Brown, which is Jimmy Valiant, Gentleman Chris Adams, Danny Hodge, David Crockett, Denny Brown, Dick Slater, Dino Bravo, Don Kernoodle, Dory Funk Jr., Dusty Bibi, Earl Hebner. They have Gino Hernandez, Harley Race, Iceman King Parsons, Ivan Koloff, J.R. Ewing, which actually was a really big get for them because he's been pretty fucking over for them, James J. Dillon, Jim Crockett Jr., Joel Deaton, Johnny Rivera, Johnny Weaver, who I think, he's a color comp, Crusher Khrushchev, Lasertron, which is Hector Guerrero, Manny Fernandez, Mil Mascaras, No Yub, Nikita Koloff, Ole Anderson, Pat O'Connor, Randy Anderson, Ric Flair himself. I did have an opportunity to sign Flair, but I believe he's on like a pay-per appearance deal, so I could snap him up anytime I wanted. Yeah, anytime I wanted, I could snap him up, but I don't. Because, I don't know, I like some competitiveness a little bit. Ron Garvin, Sam Houston, Stan Hansen, the Starships, who I do want to bring in at some point. At least, of course, Starship Coyote for obvious reasons. They have Terry Funk, The Barbarian, Tommy Rich, Tommy Young, Tony Schiavone, Tully Blanchard, who's been great for them, Wahoo McDaniel. We'll take a look at their championships, because they haven't had a lot of belt movement. The biggest belt here for them is the United States Championship, because the main championship is the NWA World Championship. It's with the NWA, right? So you can see there have been a ton of defenses. They're on tour shows. They love to run these. They run them every single week, Thursday and Friday, which means you get tons of really cool title defenses. Which means, of course, you get numbers like Stan Hansen defending the belt 33 times, or Ron Garvin defending it 23 times in just around, 3 months. World Sex-Man Tag Team Champions are Chris Adams, Wahoo McDaniel, and Ron Garvin. You can kind of see the crazy ass shit with that, the weird like back and forth between people, and it's a lot of like a lot of vacations and stuff like that, just because it's hard doing 6-man tag belts. Gino Hernandez is the World Television Champion. You can see right there, Ole Anderson had it for like the longest time. So did Tully actually, but Ole for the longest, and then he won it back from Dino Bravo, and then dropped it to Gino. So yeah, they're doing quite well for themselves, I would say. If we tour them, you can see the top guys here. No surprise there. I wanted to quickly look at probably WCCW, just because. We'll take a quick look here. Kind of who you expect. They have Ric Flair off on a touring deal or whatever there, so they have Dory Funk Jr., Bob Backlund, the Masked Superstar, which is actually Bill Eadie, which is Axe. You can see right there, though, they've got Ted DiBiase, Sam Houston, Rocky Johnson. They're big stars. Where are they? Come on, boys. Show up. There they are. Kevin Von Erich, and, of course, Kerry. They're pushing Kevin a lot harder than Kerry in this one. I don't really know why that would be, but that's just what they're doing. And there's one other Von Erich, aren't they? Unless he's, like, already dead, which would kind of suck. Kevin, Kerry, and... is it David or Mike? There he is, Mike. Mike's still alive. David's dead. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. That's okay, though. Taking a quick look at their belts. NWA American Heavyweights, it's Ted DiBiase. The American Tag Team, it's Kevin and Kerry. The NWA Brass Knuckles, it's also Teddy. The Texas Heavyweight is the Missing Link. The WCCW Television is Robert Fuller. And the 6-man Tag Team Champions they've literally only defended it once, apparently. They just did it one time randomly, and that's Kerry, Kevin, and Mike. I wanted to check out maybe MidSouth. Why not? Because MidSouth is actually the 4th company in the world, apparently. Actually, they're bigger. Bill Watts' company is bigger right now than JCP. If we tour them, you can see why. They've got quite a host of names there. They've actually been putting on banger shows, I won't even lie. Their championships, the Mid-South North American is Bob Backlund. The tag team champions are Carlos Colon and Rocky Johnson. And their Mid-South television champion is actually Carlos Colon, who won it from Rocky Johnson. Very, very interesting. And there's one more, of course, the American Wrestling Association. They're bleeding money all the time, but they're not bleeding talent. International Television Champion Kurt Hennig. AWA World Champion is Sergeant Slaughter. Steve Regal is their light heavyweight champion, not to be confused with Steven Regal. This, of course, is Mr. Electricity Steve Regal. The World Tag Team Champions, Baron Von Raschke and Kurt Hennig. And the Women's Champion, which is Kat LaRue. Actually, I signed up both of these women, which is actually really funny. There was one more thing I wanted to check out. Right, All Japan is where the cool kids hang out in Japan. We'll just take a look at their belts really quick. DiBiase and Hirata are the All Japan Pro Wrestling All Asia Tag Team Champions. The All Japan Pro Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Champion is Tiger Mask II. All Japan Pro Wrestling World's Strongest Tag Team. It's a tournament, so who won it last? Nobody. They didn't even do it. They didn't even decide to do it this year. NWA International Heavyweight is Yoshiaki Yatsu. The International Tag Team Champions are, of course, of Tenryu and Surata. The NWA United National Champion is Kevin Von Erich. Kevin Von Erich has all the belts. The PWF World Heavyweight Champion is Giant Baba, and the PWF World Tag Team Champions are Toshiaki Kawada and Rusher Kimura. Very, very cool, I guess. As you can see right here, sorry, I had to deal with something. IWGP Heavyweight Champion Antonio Inoki. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, which, man, that belt has changed hands a lot. Literally happened on their first show, where the Cobra picked it up. And he is still their champion. It's bounced back and forth, and he has it still. The IWGP Tag Team Champions are Kendo Nagasaki II and Mr. Pogo. The Super Great Tag League was won by Antonio Inoki and Tatsumi Fujinami. The Super J Cup was won by Kuinaki Kobayashi, and the International Wrestling Grand Prix, the IWGP itself, was won by Fujiwara. So, ain't that cool? Overall, I feel like that's a pretty good look and feel around the world. There will always probably be something I'm forgetting, some major wrestling thing I'm forgetting. I'm quickly looking through. I can't see any that I immediately would go, oh man, how did I not show that off? But that's okay, because I feel like I've given a pretty good look over on what's going on in the future. And just a little bit of a fun side video. Don't worry, I'm still going to put up an ECW this week. So don't even trip, dog. Don't even trip. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, very much so. And yeah, as always, have a good one. This is Silly Talk, signing out.